coming at you with another episode of Blunt Talks. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how to avoid having a cannabis-induced panic attack. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this is because lately I've been hearing a lot of people say that they're deterred from smoking marijuana or trying cannabis because the first time or the first few times that they tried it, they ended up having a panic attack and they freaked out, had a really bad experience, and now they don't want to try it anymore. So I heard that from like at least a bunch of people, like 5 people in the last couple weeks, because I've been promoting the channel and talking to people about cannabis and everything, and I've been getting a lot of different responses and feedback from people. So that's what gave me this idea to do the video on how to avoid having a panic attack from smoking cannabis. And maybe, you know, some people could watch this video and maybe try to get back into cannabis, and maybe they won't have a bad experience, and maybe they can, you know, they get into it and get the benefits of it. Because I know some people, they really want to try it, they want to smoke, they want to get into it, but they're scared to death because they had a panic attack once or twice, and now they're like, dude, like, I'm allergic, like, I don't know what to fucking do now. So Chris is to the rescue, guys. Don't worry, I'm trying to help you. So I got a few tips here. Now, before I start, I just want to say one thing. I actually also suffered from cannabis-induced panic attacks. Now, I think that any smoker that has been smoking for a long time has probably experienced a panic attack that came on from smoking cannabis. You know what I'm saying? You know, it happens. It's rare. It's weird. It comes on. You know, one time it happened to me from edibles. It happened to me from certain strains. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, it sucks, bro. I mean, you know, like, nobody enjoys a fucking panic attack, right? So basically, I just want to get into a few things before I get into how to avoid a panic attack. So basically, one thing that you want to remember when we're talking about cannabis-induced panic attacks is 99.9% of the time it is dose related. That means that you probably took too much. Now, you might think, well, I took one hit and I had a panic attack. Well, you might not have a high tolerance. Maybe it was your first time smoking. Maybe your tolerance was exactly 0, and the strain that you smoked was like super potent, and maybe it just, you took a big hit and it hit you like crazy. It's all it takes is one hit, man. So that's all I'm saying. So you probably had too high of a dose. So it's always dose related, which means that it could be tweaked and it can probably be avoided because you can tweak a dose. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, you know, we can fix the problem. Those of you out there that are scared of cannabis because of they had a panic attack, or maybe they heard that they could possibly have a panic attack, don't worry. We can fix it. We can try to come up with a solution, alright? So another thing I want to say real quick is that also, you are more prone to have a cannabis-induced panic attack if you have a anxiety or panic attack disorder already, or if you have a predisposition to panic attacks, maybe in your family, maybe it's genetic, maybe your mother or father has some type of panic or anxiety disorder. So they say that, you know, I did a little bit of research on this, so on the medical side, so they say that, you know, people that have, you know, already have it in their family, or suffer from an anxiety or panic disorder, are more common to have a bad reaction to cannabis. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So if you're one of those people, just keep that in mind. So basically what I want to talk about is what we can do when dealing with cannabis to have a good experience and to avoid having a panic attack. So the first thing on my list is try different consumption methods. So what I mean by try different consumption methods is, if you usually smoke, maybe you should try edibles. You know what I'm saying? So if the last time you did cannabis and you had a panic attack because you smoked a vape, or maybe you smoked a bowl or a bong or a blunt, whatever it was, and you had a panic attack, maybe the next time you try it, maybe you should try edibles. That way you can control it more, you can control how much you take, and you can start off real small. I mean, if you're prone to having panic attacks, but you really do want to experience cannabis, like a good experience, I would definitely recommend trying maybe edibles, because edibles are super easy to control and they're easy to dose. So you can get a chocolate bar, and each square of the chocolate bar is 50 milligrams, and you could break that in half into a 25 milligrams. And then you could break that again in half into 12 and a half, and so on. So I recommend start off with a small amount of edibles, and I'm talking about like 10 milligrams. That way you won't get it's not going to be enough to give you a panic attack, and then you can always just take a little bit more if you don't achieve the high or the feeling that you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So then you could, maybe you take 15 next time until you find that spot that gets you high safely without putting you over the limit that would put you into a panic attack. So that's what I would recommend, is to switch up your consumption method. I know that most likely that might fix the issue right there. So the second thing on my list, so I basically talked about it already in the first one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Take smaller doses and then build up. So, if you're maybe the first time you're trying it, maybe you're with a group of friends or something like that, and somebody passes you a blunt. So don't go crazy, don't start sucking on the thing like a Navajo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta go, take a little tiny puff. If you know that you have a small tolerance already and you might be prone to having panic attacks, I would take a minute little hit. I'm talking about little, like one little, you know what I'm saying, where you're just barely blowing out smoke, because that's all you need, man. I mean, really, that's all you need. So sometimes, man, all it takes is one big hit to put you into a panic attack. So just keep that in mind. Take a small puff. Take a small puff, man. And I say this to them, like say you're looking to try cannabis, and you're scared that you might have a panic attack. It's always good to be in an area, in a place that you're familiar with, like your house, your room, or maybe your friend's house, or your boyfriend, or whatever. Just be with somebody you trust, and be in a place that you trust. That way, if you do start leaning towards a bad experience, you're at least in a place where you can deal with it in a more proper way. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's always good to be with somebody you trust, and somebody that can kind of guide you through the experience. Because weed, for the first time, I mean, it is kind of an experience, and you don't want that person to have like a bad experience. So you should always have somebody that has knowledge about it and can control it for you, and make sure you don't overdo it or underdo it, so you have a good experience. So if you've got a friend that maybe can help you out like that, that'd be great. And it's always good to be with somebody that you trust, and be in a place that you trust, which lowers your anxiety level before you even actually consume the marijuana. Just keep that in mind. So the next thing on my list is, I already said it. Try to be around someone you trust. So I'm just going to skip that. Alright, so I kind of touched on this already, but I'm going to just say it again. Try to be in a calm, relaxed state before you smoke. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you're already worked up and you have anxiety or about something already, when you smoke, it can make that feeling that you already had worse. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if you're in a bad mood, maybe it's not the right time. So just try to be in a relaxed state when you smoke, or however you're going to consume your cannabis, because the mood that you're in when you first start, it actually does have a lot to do with the experience you're going to have after you smoke. It just the brain's a funny thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to explain it, but I just recommend that you're in a nice, calm, and relaxed mood before you even start to smoke, if you want to avoid a panic attack. The next thing on my list is, if you have access to a dispensary, hopefully you're a resident of New Jersey and you're of the age of 21 or older. If you are, then you can go to the dispensary and you can find certain strains that have low THC. That way, you don't gotta worry about getting some super potent shit that you might take one hit and freak the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Now you can find shit that might have like under 10%. You know, they have it, man. They have 9% strains that are really good. That'll give you a nice relaxed high. But you know that it's not gonna really put you like at that level. And like a lot of people want high THC, but there's also people out there that want low THC because maybe they don't want to experience that same level of highness that you do. So it's different strokes for different folks. So that's another thing that I would recommend. If you have access to a dispensary, definitely go there, talk to a bud tender, and try to get a lower amount of THC, a certain strain. Moving on. Do research on what you're smoking, man. There is so much information now on cannabis. You can go to leafly.com and look up any strain. And there's people out there that are leaving reviews, and there's actually a percentage bar right there that tells you if a certain strain causes anxiety or not. So you can actually do research, like if you know what strain you have, to find out if that strain is prone to giving you anxiety attacks. So you can do some research and find out what strain might be the best for you and get that strain or stick with that strain. So just do research on what you're doing. I mean, anything that you put in your body, you should, you know, try to like do some research on. I mean, I know spur of the moment shit happens. Maybe you're on a date and the guy you're with pulls out a blunt and you're like, yeah, let's smoke, man, fuck it. I mean, I get it, but if you're like, you know, trying to get into cannabis and you're a regular cannabis smoker, you're looking to become a regular cannabis smoker, then try to do research and find out like what you're doing and what you're getting and what strains cause certain effects. Leafly.com, weedmaps.com, there's a ton of blogs. Google search bar is an amazing thing. Use it. Next thing I got. I said this already, but I'm going to say it again. Take small hits. If you're in a situation where somebody's passing you a bowl or a blunt or whatever it is, take small hits, man. If you're having an anxiety attack from cannabis and you're a new smoker that has a very low tolerance, you don't need to take a big hit. And anybody who's with you that stirs you to try to take a big hit, they're stirring you wrong. Just do your own thing. Take small hits. Protect yourself. Have fun. Have a good experience. Take small hits. Work your way up. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. Just start off small and work your way up. Eventually, you'll be able to control when you smoke, and you'll know how much is enough and how much is too much. You'll be able to gauge that once you start smoking for, like, you know, a couple of months or whatever. So, basically, now I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to give you guys a couple things to do to calm down if you experience a cannabis-induced panic attack. That way, you're getting the best of both worlds. I'm trying to help you avoid having a cannabis-induced panic attack, but if you do happen to have one, here's some things that'll help you through the experience. First, if you're in your house or anybody's house, that you try to be in like a dark room. If you have a light that dims, dim the lights. It's always good to be in a darker area when you're having a panic attack, because the light could cause you to kind of like, you know what I mean, like it's harder for you to relax when there's light shining and there's sound. So try to be in a dark, quiet area. First thing you want to do is sit down, put your hands on your knees and start taking deep breaths. Now when I say deep breaths, I mean exhale through your mouth and inhale through your mouth and exhale through your nose. Like, you do that slow and you keep doing it and just by naturally the breaths you're taking, if you focus on the breaths, it's gonna slowly calm you down. So you got to keep taking the breaths, and then eventually after a couple, like 5 or 10 breaths, go from a sitting position. If you're in a place where you can lay down, like hopefully you're home or in somebody's home where there's a bed or a couch, and then you can lay down and keep doing the breathing while you're laying down. And sometimes for some people it helps if you lay on your side or even in a fetal position, but the most important thing to do is to keep breathing keep breathing, inhaling through your mouth, exhaling through your nose, and eventually, after maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour, eventually you're going to realize that the panic attack passed and that it's over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have used this method multiple times. It's worked for me. I've used this for panic attacks that I've had that had nothing to do with smoking marijuana. So that's just a little bit of advice. Hopefully you take the first part of this video and use that so you don't have a panic attack. But if you do and you happen to see this video, you know Chris gave you a little advice for if, God forbid, that does happen to you. But I'm hoping that it doesn't. I'm hoping this video was helpful. I got a couple of videos suggested on the top of this screen. If you want, you can check them out. I really appreciate that. Please subscribe to my channel. Again, my name's Chris. This is Blunt Talks. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.